Hey guys, let's get more news about Lakers, but first, don't forget to subscribe and leave your like. Player grades, Lakers vs Celtics. In the words of the great James Worthy, the Lakers went out and got that Celtics A, and boy did it feel good. Nothing fixes the vibes more than absolutely blowing out your rival and for the best win of the season. The way the Lakers did it was very encouraging, too. This wasn't just some crazy hot shooting night they rode to a win that likely couldn't be replicated. Instead, this was a really strong, locked-in defensive performance. That's not to say it wasn't a strong shooting night, but it was a largely replicable one. Only Gabe Vincent, who hit 4 3-pointers, had an extraordinarily good game. Mix all that together and you get a game where the Lakers had their biggest win of the season and Bronny James got to play. Making this even sweeter was the fact the Celtics rested 3 of their key players on Wednesday against the Clippers to have them ready against the Lakers on Thursday. That worked well for them. So, let's dive into the win. As always, grades are based on expectations for each player. A B grade represents the average performance for that player. A strong night from Rui on both ends of the floor. There were a couple of really strong rebounds he grabbed, and even though there was a sequence in which he seemed allergic to grabbing boards, it was an overall good game from him. It sure felt like LeBron had more than 20 points on the night, but maybe because there were some really big dunks, it felt like more. And I shouldn't be surprised by how much he has left in the tank one game after a nasty poster dunk, but my word was he absolutely ready for this game. His work on the boards was the best example of how up for the game he was. The Celtics present plenty of opportunities for AD to succeed on the interior and he took full advantage on Thursday. Kristaps Porzingis has zero interest banging down low, and Al Horford is about 237 years old, so AD had his way. It's easy to have watched this game and been critical of Max, who was constantly giving up jumpers from Porzingis. But I actually liked this defensive strategy, because it more or less baited Boston into often contested, inefficient mid-range jumpers by Porzingis instead of 3-pointers. And Max did his part. He got low, made it difficult on Porzingis, and forced him into some ugly misses. It's the type of performance that doesn't show up in the box score but was a good one. This felt like one of the games Reeves had the most control over as a lead guard, particularly in the second half. It felt like he knew where he needed to go, and finishing with 0 turnovers against Jrue Holiday and Derek White is a great showing in its own right. The team leader in plus-minus in this win? None other than Gabe Vincent himself. We've said this many times this season, but this was his best game as a Laker. He knocked down some timely shots, played great defense, and was a solid 3-and-D guard. I even forgive him for that wild 3-pointer he took off a ball screen in the third quarter. I want to be mad at Hayes because he had some wild mistakes in the first half, but how can you possibly be mad at him when he had 8 rebounds? We won the game. Let's ignore the on-court mistakes for a night. It would have been interesting to see the lineup the Lakers went to if the game was close late, because having DFS switched on to Porzingis late in the game feels better than having Max in the same spot, even for how well he played. For takeaways, as Celtics lose to Lakers in stunning blowout. The Celtics finished off their trip to Los Angeles on an ugly note, getting dominated for the better part of 48 minutes in a 117-96 loss to the Los Angeles Lakers at Crypto.com Arena in their worst loss of the season. The hosts took control of the game late in the first quarter with a 10-2 run to build a double-digit lead and did not look back from there. The Celtics fell behind by as many as 21 points in the first half in a dismal offensive shooting from the team's supporting cast. Boston showed some signs of life at the start of the second half with a 14-7 run from the starters, trimming the deficit to 12 points. Boston's offense fell flat again from there, going scoreless for a 4:34 stretch late in the third quarter that allowed the Lakers to push their lead back up to 19 points. Boston got no closer than 15 points the rest of the way as the Lakers led by as many as 27 points in the rout. Kristaps Porzingis led the Celtics with a team-high 22 points in the setback, but only 3 Boston players scored in double figures. Anthony Davis led the Lakers with 24 points, while LeBron James added a double-double with 20 points and 14 rebounds. The uninspired showing comes for Boston at the end of their toughest schedule stretch of the season, with Thursday's loss marking their 5th game in 7 nights. Boston will look to close out their trip with a 3-1 record on Saturday afternoon as head to Dallas for an NBA Finals rematch. NBA rumors: Lakers hit with high asking price in Walker Kessler trade talks. The Los Angeles Lakers have had a decent first half to the 2024-25 NBA season, currently sitting in 6th place in the Western Conference ahead of Thursday evening's clash with the Boston Celtics. The Lakers haven't exactly been a picture of consistency thus far this year, but are seeing continued greatness from LeBron James to help pick up the slack. Now is the time of year when many a LeBron James team has seen its name spun through the trade rumor mill, and this year's iteration of the Lakers is no different, with fans clamoring for Rob Pelinka and company to part with their dwindling future assets in hopes of maximizing the team's window to compete in the short term. One name that has been brought up extensively as a Lakers target is Utah Jazz center Walker Kessler. However, a recent report from Shams Charania on ESPN's First Take made the prospects of that happening seem far-fetched, per Pickup Hoop on X. They do have some players on this roster: Christian Wood, Jared Vanderbilt, players like Jackson Hayes, Cam Reddish. How do you figure out a way to consolidate talent, wondered Charania. Every time they call on Walker Kessler in Utah, that asking price is really high. So that front office is trying to make calls, doing due diligence, but at the end of the day, it takes 2 teams to tango. In just his 3rd year, Walker Kessler has established himself as one of the best rebounders and shot blockers in the NBA, even if his game on the offensive end of the floor is limited at this point in time. Inserting Kessler into the rotation would allow Anthony Davis to play his natural position of power forward, a desire he has made public over the years, and also give the Lakers more size in general, which would help them compete with teams like the Denver Nuggets. At this point, Rob Pelinka and Jeanie Buss have given no indication that they are willing to part with the team's remaining future assets in order to maximize a potential championship window now, which has to be frustrating for LeBron James, who is playing at by far the highest level of anyone this far into their career. And you, fan? What do you think of the situation of Walker Kessler? Leave your opinion in the comments.